Hi. Hello. Hello. So someday, this is my dream. Someday I'm going to figure out why in the heck I can't see y'all when you come on. I don't know if there's some weird setting that's like I don't know what it is, but I am like I don't even understand why I can't see. Anyway, maybe there's like something in the audience and engagement posting or something. I don't know. Anyway, hi. I'm here. I hope you're here. And if you're here, will you write in the comments or something and be like, hey, tell me you're here. Because if you're here, then when you write in the comments, I can see you. And maybe send me some hearts or something and be like, hey, I'm here. Anyway, I'm going to stop touching buttons now because I seem to be highly, thoroughly, ridiculously distracted by the fact that I can't see anybody here. Oh, goodness. Anyway, I think you're awesome. And I'm awesome. Today has been the best day I've had in like a long time. And I'm going to tell you why. So the first reason why is that I have been doing this challenge called Ask for Everything with my coach, Susan Hyatt, who's just like a complete and total badass. And we're supposed to ask for things like ask for help and ask for testimonials. And I've been doing all that stuff and it's been amazing. But today, the challenge was to ask for things that are completely like pie in the sky out of control. And so I did, and I'm already getting magical things back. And so I'm really excited because it's going to lead to me being able to do some really kick-ass stuff. For example, I'm going to be doing a summer series interviewing the women that totally light me on fire and inspire me. And so I'm starting to collect those people, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be amazing. And so anyway, if you're here, tell me you're here because there's some weird thing going on with my Facebook settings that I cannot see you unless you write a comment. I don't understand. I'm going to try and get that fixed by Monday when I go live for my mayhem. There's Marcy. Yay. Hi, Marcy. So, hi. I'm so excited to see you. So anyway, there's magical things afoot because I'm making plans for the Facebook Lives to be totally off the hook during the summer. And then one of the other things that has happened today that was super exciting is that I had my coaching client today. So, hey, if you're here, tell me you're here, like write in the comments or something because I can't see you because there's something with my Facebook settings that are not helpful. By Monday, I swear I'm going to have it fixed. So anyway, if you're here, write in the comments and say, I'm here. So I was coaching one of my favorite clients today. She is awesome. And I came up with some of the most bomb-ass shit I have ever said in my life. For example, we were talking about her writing because she's been writing. And she has not been writing the way she defines her writing and like how a writer looks, right? Because we all have how you're supposed to look when you actually do things. And I said, writing is a practice. It is an act of defiance, and you get to decide what that looks like. And I was like, oh, that's one of the most amazing things that's ever come out of my brain. I was like, that is genius. So genius. So anyway, I was really proud of myself. And it's been one of those magical, amazing Fridays where I get to fuck shit up. And so here's how my day started, though. It was like really early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and kids are all getting ready for school, and I can hear all the kids getting ready for school, and I'm kind of laying around with Jim and the dogs and being lazy. And Caitlin brings up our coffee because she brings us coffee because she's amazing. And so Katie brought us our coffee, and I'm laying there, and I'm deciding I'm going to get up, and Jim looks at his phone, and he goes, oh, shit. And I was like, what? And he's all, just the news. Just every day is just the news. And I was like, yeah. And Martin, hey, Martin, hello. How are you? Oh, look, it's Sarah Elizabeth Dill. Yay. Hi, guys. It's so good to see you. I'm so happy you're here. So anyway, we're laying around and Jim's like, Katie brought the coffee, and Jim's swearing because the news has happened on his phone. And he's like, I cannot believe this. And I was like, well, what is it now? And he's like, well, Donald Trump's going to meet with North Korea. And I just laughed. And anyway, he goes into the bathroom and shuts the door. And I hear him scream, and I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? He's like getting ready to get in the shower, and he's like yelling, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, abstinence only education. Sarah, this is the perfect timing to catch Dr. Bird. There's no better timing than Fuck Shit Up Friday, honestly, like if you really want to know the truth. So anyway, he's yelling because he's like, abstinence only education is making a comeback. And I was like, oh, fail. So many fails. Because here's what we know about that. Real sex ed gets real results. Abstinence only gets you pregnant with STDs. That's what we know. What we know is that real sex ed gets real results. Abstinence only leads to STDs and unintended pregnancy. That's what we know. Yeah, and and increased abortions. So anyway, that's there's a couple of things that little highlights about what we're going to talk about. So yeah, so Jim's swearing this morning, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? And then I listen to my challenge for Ask for Everything, and I start to make a list of all the things I'm going to ask for that are like completely pie in the sky, big, gigantic dreams. And I'm going to share one of those with you. So I, of course, because I'm an overachiever, I wrote down 5. And for any of you who know me or have known me for any amount of time or who have been in my home, you know that I have a shrine to Eleanor Roosevelt. And I even have, let's see if I can get this right on the camera. Which way do I go, camera? Which way do I go? I have her signature tattooed on my arm. You can't see very well because I can't get the right angle. Anyway, that's Eleanor Roosevelt's signature because I love her. Look, there she is right there in the screen. Anyway, I love Eleanor Roosevelt. And so my biggest ask, the one that made me almost cry while I was on the phone, was I called the Eleanor Roosevelt Center for Leadership and asked them how I become one of their workshop leaders or trainers. And the whole time I was on the phone, I was just effusing about how much I love Eleanor Roosevelt and how awesome she is. And then I even told the lady on the phone that I had her signature tattooed on my own arm, and that I told Ford Roosevelt, her grandson, about it, which is like totally, I'm only 1 degree of separation from Eleanor Roosevelt, which is really exciting. And so anyway, it was just like one of those moments where I was on the phone and she's like, yes, send us your CV and all of your links and all of the things. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So here's my challenge for all of you today on Fuck Shit Up Friday. And sometimes it's the littlest things that make you like sing to all the heavens. And it is this: ask for something that you never in a million years thought you could get. And it sets the tone for your whole entire day to be beyond amazing, like beyond amazing. And by the way, I still want to do a TED Talk, just for the record. Sarah, my friend, TED Talk. I want to do a TED Talk. Okay, so here's the headline: abstinence only education making a comeback under Trump. What do we know about abstinence only education, people? What have we said? Oh, real sex ed gets real results. Abstinence only gets you pregnant is what it does. So this is super problematic. And if we want to stop the Trump train from running over sex education in a great many places, yes, thumbs up, Sarah, good. You got my memo. Then we need to, on a local level, working with our local health departments and our local departments of education, try and figure out a way to push back on that because it's absolute bullshit. So there's that. And then this little headline came up on the Twitters. Are you ready? GOP senator says Justice Kennedy is going to retire this summer. To which all of us who are in the know went, but he just hired 4 law clerks for October. What's happening? What's going on? We don't even understand the insanity of this idea. So, of course, the Twitters are blowing up. Everybody's going, please give RBG like as many vitamins as possible. Please, 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 please. He cannot retire. There could not be 2 Trump nominees on the Supreme Court. This cannot happen. This cannot happen in our America. This would be devastating for all of the things, because at least Kennedy, while sometimes his decisions are not my most favorite decisions in the whole entire world, at least he gets it and he listens. And he might not be like all the time my favorite human being, but he gets it and he listens. He can't leave. Justice Kennedy, please, for the love of God and my body and all the LGBT people in the universe and my body, even though sometimes you don't agree with my body, but still my body, please, please, please don't leave. Please don't leave. He hired 4 law clerks for October. He can't go anywhere. He just hired people, and those people want to work with him. He can't disappoint them. If he disappoints them, it's going to be the end of their law careers, and they're going to be disappointed, and then they're going to end up going to work in some retail job somewhere, folding T-shirts with a T-shirt folder thing, or working in the Target. They're going to be devastated if they can't work with Justice Kennedy. Justice Kennedy has to stay for those 4 law clerks so that they can make their dream come true of clerking in the Supreme Court with Justice Kennedy. This has to happen. He can't go away. Y'all, please, my hope and my prayer for the Supreme Court is that this GOP senator is trying to drive the votes of the GOP out, because the GOP is like the patriarchy. It's like Gollum hanging on the edge of the Grand Canyon. It's like, my precious, we're dying. And we're going to lose all of our seats to all of the Democrats that are actually winning in Texas. And so this was an effort on behalf of the GOP to be like, Justice Kennedy is leaving. And so vote for the GOP so we can get an awesome person confirmed for the Supreme Court, which is no, Justice Kennedy is not leaving, because I refuse. I am disinclined to acquiesce to this news. I'm not going to acquiesce to this news. I can't. I just can't. Who's squeaking? Oh, the dogs are playing at the foot of the stairs. If you hear some weird squeaking, it's because the dogs are playing at the foot of the stairs. They're amazing, by the way, the dogs. Potato, Dakota. Awesome dogs. Okay, are you ready for the third thing? Here's the third thing. Ready? Donald Trump is making out with North Korea behind the bleachers in secret. Donald Trump is making out with North Korea in secret behind the bleachers. Normally I don't say his name, but I really think it sounds kind of funny if you say Orange Cheeto is making out with North Korea behind the bleachers. Anyway, so I don't understand this headline at all. 5 reasons why Donald Trump's massive North Korea gamble makes complete and total sense. It does? Really? Well, let's read why, shall we? So, reason number 1 that it makes total sense. Trump's a deal maker. Okay. When he looks in the mirror, he sees someone who is uniquely able to bring people together who have never come together before and put a deal together. He believes himself to be one of the greatest deal makers in history. As such, he has to try to tackle the biggest deal-making challenge in the world. Therefore, finding a way to more stable, denuclearize North Korea is about as big as they come. Good point. Good point, Chris Siliza. Good point. I don't think I'm saying his last name right. But anyway, number 2, Trump is the history maker. Okay. I'm a history maker too. And I'm not going to go make out with North Korea behind the bleachers. Let's just be super clear here. Number 3, Trump is unorthodox. Okay. He revels in freaking out the political establishment. I'm not the political establishment and I'm freaking out. Jim's not the political establishment and he was freaking out this morning because he's sitting there thinking, could anyone please explain to me why I fought in 2 wars on behalf of this nation if we're going to go make out with North Korea behind the bleachers? Seriously, if we're going to make out with North Korea behind the bleachers, why did Jim fight in 2 wars? I have no idea. I don't even understand. I don't know. I don't even care. He's not just freaking out the political establishment. He's freaking out everybody. Freaking out. Number 4, Trump's the freelancer. He talks in the art of the deal. He talks about how he starts his day, clean desk, empty schedule. He didn't like to make plans. Clearly, look at what we're doing in America today. He liked to react to whatever the day threw at him. Dear God, this is not how to run a nation. You do not react to what gets thrown at you when you're the president of the United States of America, and you do not make out with North Korea behind the bleachers. It's ridiculous, people. His grand strategy was just a bunch of tactics sewed together. What is that, like a crazy quilt? Remember those crazy quilts that you used to go see I used to go see at the state fair that were so beautiful and well done, and it was just a bunch of scraps of fabric put together by a bunch of grandmas? Okay, that's amazing for a quilt, but that's not amazing for a nation. The nation is not a crazy quilt, and you can't make out with North Korea behind the bleachers. Lastly, but not leastly, the number 5 reason this is genius for Trump is that he's a reality TV star. He knows that a meeting between him and Kim will have the eyes of the world on it. And what does Donald Trump love more than being sued by crazy exes who are mad at him? Why? He likes being on TV. And so, in light of the fact that we have a president who's being sued by someone he had an extramarital affair with, which is no laughing matter, who's promoting abstinence-only education, which is just the world's most giganticest hypocrisy I have ever heard in my entire life. Going to make out with North Korea behind the bleachers, while, oh, by the way, the swing vote on the Supreme Court may or may not be staying on the Supreme Court, tells you the state of affairs in today's America. And so my response to all of that is, for the love of all that is, please fuck some shit up by talking to your local elected officials today. Please let your senators and congresspeople know that you're just really, 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 really upset, and here's what you're upset at. Make a list of the top 3 things that concern you in your life. For example, the top 3 things for me that are coming up a lot lately: paying back student loans, because my students are all really concerned about that. Whether or not we're going to have Medicaid for our kids, because Jim and I are really concerned about that. And the third thing that I'm really worried about is how we're treating our veterans lately. Because there's a really big problem with how our veterans get treated in the healthcare system and in their reimbursement for fighting for this country. So those are my top 3 things. What are your top 3 things? I bet you have a couple. Focus on those. Send a message to your elected officials and let them know. And I need to backtrack for just a second, because I do not want to make it sound, I actually realized that what came out of my mouth was not fully thought out before it came out of my mouth, which happens a lot. But I understand that that the ex-wives of the President of the United States of America went through an awful lot when they were married to him, and I don't mean to be flippant about that at all. But I also want to say that we have a sitting president who is being sued by a woman who, rightly so, has a lot to say, and I don't mean to be flippant about it, and I really was, and I really want to apologize for that, because that was kind of lame. But remember that abstinence only leads to unintended pregnancies, increases in abortion and STDs, and also please remember to really pay attention to what's happening in our headlines, because some of these headlines are really quite horrifying if you think about it. And if you are really, really, really super interested in finding out more about what I've been writing lately, you can become a supporter of mine on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. And I have the most amazing Patreon supporters ever, but I want more. And so I'm going to put a link to my Patreon page in here. And I'm posting exclusive content on my Patreon page that's not going to be on my blog. It's not going to be on Facebook. It's not going to be anywhere else. It's only going to be on Patreon. And it's a whole bunch of my political writing and my personal writing and my stories about my life, and a whole bunch of other mayhem and madness that's going on over on my Patreon page. So I hope you'll join me over there. It's patreon.com/birdgirl1001. And you can become a supporter of mine over on Patreon. And I think you all are rock star amazing. And don't forget today that real sex ed gets real results. I think you're awesome. Talk to you later. Bye.